me, no fooling around. Cause it's breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome back, everybody. Breakfast with Bob from Kona at Huggo's on the Rocks. My name is Bob Babbitt. Brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels, right fuel, right time. HOKA, Fly Human Fly, Deboer Wetsuits, Quintana, and our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest from the UK, Kieran Lindars, joins us. How you doing, Kieran?
Yeah, it's really good, thank you. Really happy to be here.
It's so good to have you. Nice to. It's amazing when I'm looking through splits all for this past summers, and I'm going, oh my God, this kid took second in Frankfurt and went like 46:29 swim, 4:03:26 bike, 2:37:06, 7:32:14. Those numbers are silly. It's ridiculous. You guys are going so fast. Did you surprise yourself?
Oh yeah, Frankfurt was a huge surprise. I kind of felt like I had that performance in me, but it was trying to negotiate getting a result that was a complete triathlon as opposed to a good back end or a good front part. So really just trying to make sure that all three disciplines on the day were good, as opposed to usually me getting kind of one really good discipline or two and then losing time in the other. So yeah, it was a big shock, but I think I had faith that I could pull off a result like that.
What got you into the sport?
My mum.
Your mum?
Triathlon wasn't particularly big when I was growing up. It got really big after the Olympics when the Brownlee brothers won.
2012, yeah.
And I remember we were just, Sunday, Saturday morning TV, and there was an Ironman race going on, and we were just watching it, and it was a highlights, and that kind of introduced me to triathlon. And then my mum said that it would be a good idea to try one because it looked really good fun, and I was already swimming and running, and that's how I got into triathlon. So it was a big inspiration from watching a race early on, but also a lot of dedication from my parents to be able to do those sort of opportunities.
Now, did they race as well, or they were like driving you around so you'd go to you race?
No, I mean, they both played sport when they were younger. My mum used to run, my dad played a bit of rugby, but not really to kind of this sort of extreme level, but they've essentially given their lives for me and my brothers to be able to do anything that we wanted to do, and I think they're both very hard working, so if we were going to try something, we always tried it to our best ability. And I think that's why I always kind of explain this as a hobby gone mad, because it was trying something for the love of it and just trying my best at it, and it kind of by doing that, it's taken me through the levels to be here today.
Did you start out wanting to go to the Olympics and go through the ITU format, or was it more the longer distance that appealed to you?
When I was younger, my dream was just to represent the country.
Yes.
Just to represent the country, and I think the kind of the dream was to go to World Championships. The Olympics, I don't know why, for whatever reason, was never the main thing for me. I think because of the politics of going to the Olympics can sometimes make it a little bit, whereas something like this, it's everyone has the same availability to go, they qualify, and you're here. So if you earn one of those slots, you get the right to race, as opposed to how many people are from this country or that country.
That's exactly right.
So I think it was always to try and get to the World Championships.
Well, and you're your own business, right? You're your own guy. You run your. You're an independent contractor deciding what race I go to, what logos I put on my uniform. I don't have to ask anybody. You can do whatever the heck you want. You qualify, you go there, and whatever you win a race, you get the money, and you go home.
Yeah, it's fairly simple, and I've got a great team behind me that that I've chosen to work with, and they've chosen to work with me, and I think that's really why the results have come this year. It's been the first year where I've had that real kind of support from just every angle.
Right. Now, I think, so you were at Challenge Daytona back in 19.
Yeah. Right?
You got 7th there, and that was 19, and then 20 was when it became the big prize money race in 2020 there. And if you look at, you're doing 6th at Challenge Almere back then, and like with 8:17, 2:52 marathon. The growth from 19 till now, what do you attribute that to? Is it coaching? Is it just equipment?
I think you can see a big shift in terms of the biking coming up.
Yeah.
I think when athletes originally were racing, it was kind of only one or two looking at aerodynamics, and now it's kind of everyone has to. Yeah. If you're not doing it, you're kind of just losing time, and that's a lot. You can see that across the board. But I think in terms of my triathlon performance, it's just been about consistent years of training with a very loyal team behind me that are mostly volunteers, and just it's been just small steps in the right direction. And I still think I need a little bit more time before I really see my full potential. And it's just trying to take the time to do things properly and not rush them, which is why you can see the stepping stones each year, but it's maybe not as extreme as some of the real top guns at this race.
So 2022, you win Challenge Almere. Was that your first major win?
That's my first and only professional win.
Aha! And that, I mean, again, 46 swim, 422, 242, 755. Your first win, you go under 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, to break that 8-hour barrier, it's part of that magical number that very few people get to experience going under, and you also have to rely somewhat on the conditions.
Yes,
so
of course.
even if you're in shape to do it, to say that you've done it is really quite special.
And then you also, in 2023, you got to race one of the classics. You got to race Challenge Roth.
Yeah. That's
pretty fun?
Oh, the Challenge Roth, I mean, all the races in Germany are crazy. You're like a rock star for the weekend, and it's just the people that get behind it really just elevate the sport to a new level.
So when you get second in Challenge Almere in 2023, coming off of winning it, was that the year you staggered towards the end?
Yeah, so
I'm going to bring that up because your buddies pointed it out. Have me show you the photo.
So that's the maybe one of the things that I'm more known for.
Really?
I kind of went into the race with a little bit of an illness that I was unaware of. Got way too hot towards the end of the race, and I was just cooking it towards the end. And with about a K to go, the body just started shutting down, and I had one of those famous Ironman.
Oh, you had a
stumbles and falling on the floor.
We've got a leaner type of thing.
Yeah, it was really. I don't remember a lot of it, and to be honest, it affected my health quite badly, which is why for the most of the first part of this year, I've actually kind of not done particularly well. I've had some bad results, and I actually thought that Frankfurt was going to be my last race.
Really?
Yeah, because I had so many health problems, and I just wasn't going in the right direction. But I had amazing support from the team. We'd started this year with the guys behind me that we thought it would take 2 years before I could try and go for a qualification, and they stayed true. And I think that's really important when you've got people around you that stay with you even though things aren't going to plan.
Right.
And they really kind of got back together, did some real big research on the new skin suit that I'm wearing, the wheels, the bike, everything, and turn up to Frankfurt, have one of those days, and all of a sudden you go from not knowing if you even deserve to be in the pro ranks to doing qualifying for Kona. So it's funny how whirlwind it can be, and I think that's I think from what I've learned from the start of the year till now, I think next year will be really exciting, and this race is all about just trying to learn as much as I can racing at this level, because the dynamics are different, how people treat it are different, and even these conditions. This is the first time that I've raced in conditions that are this warm, and I did some training in Texas with Mark Cerrone in the Paragon Tri group, and immediately it was like, right, we're going to try and go after these paces, and very quickly this is no longer realistic because of the heat, or it will be a case of if I just overstep that mark slightly, I'm now really hot, so and then I can't cool down, which is very, very different. So I'm very curious to see how the body will actually go at the weekend.
So it's one of those things, when you collapsed at Almere, was it heat related? They said it was like a heat stroke type of thing, or was it just you basically just burned your body, you just ran out of gas?
I think it was situational. It was also there's three things really going on. It was warmer than what it was supposed to be. It would usually be about 20 degrees.
Yep.
It was up to 30.
Okay.
And I think I went in with a little bit of an illness from Singapore. There was a bug that went round.
Yes.
So I think I had a bit of a starting temperature already. And then I think it also then just came down to I had a 45 second to a minute gap on third and fourth the whole day. So usually kind of, at least until that point, I kind of experienced, by the time you got to about halfway, usually positions are
pretty set.
Yeah, set.
Yep.
Not that they can't
Not
change.
in stone, but yeah.
But you've got time, whereas 45 seconds with 21k to go is not a lot of time.
That's a lot of pressure.
So it was just pushing all day, and I finished the race with a temperature of 39.6. So I was not in a good state. I think I timed it so that I got medical treatment as soon as I finished, and the medical team at Almere did an amazing job, so I will say thank you to them, because I think had I not got to the finish and seen them so quickly, or had they not been prepared for it, potentially I could have had long-term kind of organ damage. So very fortunate in that regard.
Does it scare you coming to the... I mean, here you're having a problem where your body's overheating and you're coming to Kona.
I'm not... Again, because there was a couple of things going on. I'm not sure how much... I think the big thing with the heat was that I wasn't prepared, whereas for here I've prepared as best I can. I think the only scary thing is that I was able to push my body further than what it was able to, and mentally I was strong enough to do so, and I think that's worrying, because I now know that potentially whenever I go that hard, it could result into something that I'm not quite ready for. So that's scary, but I think coming today I've had as best prep as I could have asked for. Again, the team behind me have been amazing, and I feel kind of ready for the race.
Yeah. So when I was looking at all the Frankfurt times, so you're like one spot behind Christian Blumenfeld in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And so now you're in the big leagues when you're racing with a guy like that. What was that like?
That was, I think, to be honest, I haven't actually come back down to reality yet. It's been Frankfurt, then this. Yeah. And it's been go the whole time. And I think after this weekend, I'll probably sit down and really take in what I was able to achieve that day. The cool thing about that race was I know at least for the first 10 to 20k, there was a little bit of, we were looking, he was seeing how I was feeling, I was seeing how he was feeling, and the end result... Were you guys
running side by side?
We never got to side by side, but I held a 20-second gap to him for most of that first bit of the run. Now, ultimately, he put time into me, and that's obvious, but I think what was cool was for that first few K, he actually considered me slightly as, potentially this guy can run well. Right.
Well, you did run well. You ran 2:37. He ran 2:32.
I know.
Yeah. But still, you forced him. Whenever you're in a position where you're forcing the other guy to do, to come out of his comfort zone, 2:32 isn't a comfortable place to be running.
Yeah.
Then you're racing. That's what you're there for.
Yeah. No. It was a crazy experience to kind of be racing one of the best triathletes ever, if not the best. Yeah. And just for that split second where I was even considered on the level was an honour, and I think that's really, it'll be interesting to see how well he goes this race, because I don't think when people were saying that he wasn't fit for the event, I don't think he wasn't fit. I just think that there was some specific last little percentages that he hadn't got, and I'll be interested to see with those kind of ironed out for this race. I'll be interested to see as a fan what he can do at the weekend. Well,
he done the mixed relay at the Olympics 13 days before Frankfurt. He was fit.
Yeah.
He might have not been time trial ready or time trial fit as he'd like to be, but he was still pretty damn fit. If you're coming off the Olympics and then you're coming there and going, you're running a 2:32 marathon at the end of an Ironman.
Yeah, and I think that's what I've got to try and learn to do now. Is I've had this good result, and to be considered one of the greats, or to be someone that's always a threat, you've got to be able to race when things aren't ideal. And I think that's what I've shown people that I can get that result. Right. And now it's trying to get a result every time I race, which is going to be the key for kind of this race and also next year.
What are your goals here?
I just want to experience it. I think the big thing for me is I never thought that I would be able to get to this level, and just to be here, it's 1 minute I'm kind of going, this is a beautiful place and this is the coolest thing I've ever done, to oh wait a minute, I've actually got a race to prepare for.
And I'm racing some of the greatest people of all time.
Yeah, so I I mean, it would be amazing to get a top 15, top 10.
Yeah.
I would love to just be a part of the race, to be honest, just, feeling like what I'm doing impacts the race. When I came into earlier in the interview, I said I was just wanting to learn because there's nothing really else to come.
Yeah.
People are going to pace this maybe aggressively, maybe not aggressively. There's no real holding back. So I think for me, I'm just going to try and stay smart and then try and come through towards the end if I can. And that will be interesting with this sort of dynamic at this level to see how much of a fluctuation is happening early on in the race based on people that are giving it a go and seeing how it ends versus the people that can actually go with the pace. And I think at least in history, even from the race in Nice, you can see those that really went for it early on and paid the price, and those that could hold on to that, and then also those that just were smart. I think that was a big inspiration, seeing how Nikki went.
Yes.
Just a smart race all day.
Yep.
And got the result she deserved. And there was no spectacular attack or this, that, or the other. It was just perfect execution of a race.
What she knows she could do.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though she was dealing with all sorts of running injuries.
Yeah.
Leading in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. But she was conservative enough and knew that, hey, if I get off the bike in good place and I'm able to run, I could score well here, which she did.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of what's shown. It inspired me to kind of be like, just stay true to yourself and trust that you can be at this level. Because again, this is all a bit of it's been a bit of a rush since Frankfurt, and it's trying to get in your head that I've earned this place.
Yes, you have.
And I'm part of this race, and not trying to get mesmerised by all the amazing talent that is here. Because again, it's like 1 minute you're going, oh, there's Christian Blumenfeld, and oh, wait a minute, he's in my race, I'm racing him. So it's a very fine line between being in awe of these people versus I need to be focused and I'm actually trying to race you.
Exactly. Wonderful. Hey, we'll have a great race on Saturday, man. It's really a treat to get to meet you.
No, thank you for this interview, and I watch these every year, so to actually be here and be as part of one of these interviews is just crazy to me.
I love it. Kieran Lindars has been our guest. Poncho Man, take us out.
Like crap on a rock. You gotta run real fast, you gotta run real fast. Keep your eyes on the way, never turn your back. Cause it's breakfast with Bob.
And Poncho Man.